Okay, so here's something to think about. What if your daily routine, the one you probably think is mundane, could actually be the most exciting adventure of your life?
That's an intriguing thought. Are you saying that the ordinary everyday stuff we do could actually be more meaningful than we realize?
Exactly. I came across this story of someone who described their daily life in such a way that it felt like they were living an adventure every single day. It wasn't about doing anything extraordinary. It was about finding joy and purpose in the little things, like a morning cup of tea or a family dinner.
That's such a refreshing perspective. So many of us rush through our days without really appreciating those small moments. What was their routine like?
Well, their day started at 5:30 a.m., which is already impressive. Their mum would wake them up with a hot cup of tea, and then they'd go jogging on the terrace with their elder brother. It wasn't just about exercise, it was about starting the day with a sense of connection and calm.
That sounds so peaceful. Jogging on a terrace with your sibling, there's something almost cinematic about that. Did they say what they did after that?
After jogging, they'd brush their teeth, get ready, and dive straight into studying. They had this dedicated block of time in the morning for uninterrupted study, which I think is such a disciplined way to start the day.
It really is. Most people are still hitting the snooze button at that hour. Did they have breakfast after studying?
Yes, and it was a family affair. They'd have breakfast at 8 a.m. with the whole family, watching the news and reading the day's newspaper. They made a point to check the sports column every day, which I thought was such a charming detail.
That's such a classic morning routine. There's something so grounding about starting your day with the news and a good meal, especially when you're sharing it with family. What happened after breakfast?
After breakfast, they'd chat with their family for a bit before heading off to school on their bicycle. They got to school just in time for the assembly at 8:55 a.m., and then classes would run until noon.
Biking to school sounds like such a simple pleasure. It's a great way to clear your head before diving into a busy day. Did they go home for lunch?
Yes, and that's one of the things I loved about their routine. Their house was close enough to the school that they could go home for lunch. It's such a nice way to break up the day and recharge.
That really is a luxury. So many people just grab something quick and keep going, but going home for lunch sounds so calming. What did they do after lunch?
After lunch, they'd head back to school for afternoon classes, which lasted until 3 p.m. And instead of heading straight home after school, they stayed back for tuition, which ended at 4 p.m.
That's a packed schedule already, but it sounds like they were really committed to their studies. Did they get any time to relax after all of that?
Oh, definitely. After tuition, they'd go home, have a cup of tea with some snacks, and then head out to play with their friends in a nearby field. They'd usually be back home by 5:30 p.m.
I love that they made time for play. It's so important to have that balance, especially for kids. What did they do after they got back home?
After playing, they'd take a bath and then settle down for more studying, which continued undisturbed until 8 p.m. And then came one of my favourite parts of their day, the family TV time.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What was their TV time like?
From 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., the whole family would gather to watch two TV serials together. They were all hooked on these shows and had been following them from the very beginning. They even had dinner while watching the serials.
That's such a relatable family moment. There's something so comforting about gathering around the TV with your family, sharing a meal, and getting lost in a good story. Did they say what happened after the shows?
After the serials, they'd chat as a family, discussing the events of the day. By 9:30 p.m., they'd call it a night and go to bed. It's such a well-rounded day, don't you think?
It really is. There's this balance of structure, connection, and joy in their routine that's just so inspiring. Did they say anything about how their weekends were different?
Yes, and their weekends sounded just as fulfilling. On holidays, they'd spend the morning visiting friends and playing until lunchtime. In the afternoons, they might nap for an hour or watch a movie. Sometimes they'd help their mom in the kitchen or go to the market with her. Other times they'd clean their room or give their pet dog a bath.
That's so sweet. It sounds like they use their weekends to recharge, but also to connect with friends and family. And taking care of their dog, that's such a lovely way to spend time.
Totally. What struck me the most was their perspective on life. They said boredom isn't even a word in their vocabulary. They see life as too precious to waste on lethargy or useless ventures. Their routine is packed, but it keeps them busy and their mind engaged. They genuinely see daily life as an adventure.
That's such an inspiring mindset. I feel like so many of us get caught up in the monotony of our routines, but this person has found a way to make every day feel meaningful and exciting.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that life doesn't have to be extraordinary to be fulfilling. It's about finding joy in the ordinary, like a cup of tea, a jog with a sibling, or a family dinner in front of the TV.
And it's also about being present in the moment. They weren't just going through the motions, they were actively engaging with their day, whether it was studying, playing, or spending time with family.
Exactly. It's such a simple yet profound way to live. I think we could all learn a thing or two from their approach to life.
Definitely, it's a great reminder to slow down, appreciate the little things, and find joy in the everyday. Life really is an adventure if you choose to see it that way.
Well said. So, what do you think? Should we try to incorporate some of this perspective into our own lives?
Absolutely. Let's start by finding one small thing each day to truly appreciate. It could be as simple as enjoying a cup of coffee or taking a moment to watch the sunset.
I like that. It's a small step, but it could make a big difference in how we experience our days.
Agreed. Here's to finding adventure in the everyday.
Here's to that.